Good morning, happy Sunday. Today is day 7 of my holiday baking. Throughout the week as I've been posting photographs, the popular question has been, how do you keep these cookies fresh? And so I thought, what a great video idea. The first thing to do is to determine whether or not it's a butter cookie or a cake cookie because they're both stored completely differently. The butter cookie is your shortbreads, your gingerbread, your thumbprints, the cookies that are crunchier and buttery, and they typically don't have maybe eggs or milk in them, or very minimal amount. Your cakier cookies, those are your snickerdoodles, your chocolate crinkles. They're higher and chewy and more difficult to store, which is probably the reason why most of your holiday cookies are the butter based. The butter cookie, the enemy to that is moisture. So the goal is to keep it dry and cool. And then on the opposite end is the cake cookie, where the goal is to keep the moisture in so it doesn't get dry and crack and get too crunchy. So for both cookies, it's very important to have the right storage device. I like the aluminum pans because the aluminum pans are great. Aluminum's a great product for keeping moisture out and for keeping what's there in. So I will use this for both types of cookies. Now I will line it with wax paper, and then I'll put sheets of wax paper in between each layer as I'm layering up my pans. Then I'll finish off with a piece of wax paper, a piece of aluminum, and then I'll write with a Sharpie what the cookie is so that it's easier to grab a couple if I need them for a box later. If you're going to use the plastic containers, just make sure they're the thicker ones and not the thin ones that you're using at Thanksgiving to send leftovers home. Those aren't thick enough to be able to do what you need. Keeping the cookies cool or frozen is quite important, and we have the best place to do this right in our own homes, and that actually outside of our homes, it's our garage. If it's 40 degrees or cooler, just put some banquet tables in there, put a nice tablecloth on them, and as you're finishing each pan, start stacking them, and you'll be surprised how cool they stay, and they're perfect when you end up boxing them. If it's the cake cookie, I will put those in the freezer because your garages tend to vary in temperature throughout the day, which can affect the cake cookie, not so much the butter cookie. So I will put those in the freezer. It's important to make sure both cookies are cooled completely before you store them. And then also separate by the style. You don't want to put a cake cookie with a butter cookie when you're storing them because the moisture will wick into the butter cookie. And then peppermint and cinnamon cookies, I avoid them at all costs when I'm putting them in boxes with other things because everything ends up tasting like the peppermint or the cinnamon. Thank you, Mary Newton, for being brave enough to tell me this 6 or 7 years ago because I stopped putting them in my boxes. I think one year everything tasted like a big mint. Now, a lot of people ask about the white bread. This is great for 3 or 4 days when you're storing the cake cookies in your house because there's a lot of moisture in the white bread. And if you put it in between the layers, it helps keep your cookies fresh. This is not the solution for longer than a few days though. I then box them and put them on shelves and set them out for delivery. And they usually stay good about 2 weeks or so. I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, reach out or give me a call and enjoy your Sunday. Thanks.